I can't decide how to feel, but he's getting ready to go into emergency surgery. They had the results of the x-ray. His stomach had flipped.
Whew. Good morning, guys. It was a crazy night last night. Not because we have a newborn. That's just normal craziness. It was because Ollie clearly had something going on.
Well, first was we got back from the vet, so we took him at 11 a.m.
Yesterday.
No. Yeah, whatever. 11-ish.
Yeah.
We got back from the vet. He was normal.
Mm-hmm.
Except he was really interested in that mass or like cyst on his rear end.
Yeah.
So we were like, don't lick it, and we were helping him with that, but he was fine. And then around 5 p.m., I noticed like his ear looked weird. So I lifted up his ear and it was all bloody.
Just dry blood. Like a lot.
Yes. So I called the vet right away and she was like, can you get here like in 5 minutes? And I was like, yup. So Peter just took him.
We hopped in the car, we went to the vet. They took him, they were waiting for us because they were like closing. So they took Ollie in the back and she cleaned up his ear and brought him out and was like, I don't see like an active wound or active bleeding. She's like, I don't know what caused it, but something irritated his ear and it bled. But just keep an eye on it. It looks like it's okay.
Yeah.
So we came home.
And then that was 6-ish, I guess.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, because I got there right before 6. Came home like 6:30. And
then within an hour or two, he was acting a little strange, but we kind of figured that when she flushed out his ear, it probably felt weird. Like, he probably had some residual liquid in there.
that in combination with this tumor cyst on his rear end.
And they had, like, palpated it, and they had taken a biopsy. So we were like, it makes total sense that he is uncomfortable, and we just need to work with him. And we gave him the pain med that the vet gave us. So we gave that to him.
But as the evening went on, it was clear that Ollie was very uncomfortable. And so around 11 p.m., I think it was, I thought, I'll take him on a walk. It was really cold yesterday, and so we hadn't gone on a long walk. And I thought, maybe this will just help him kind of walk it off and distract him.
He always loves a walk.
He always loves to walk. And I told him, let's go for a walk. He wagged his tail, kind of like kept his tail down, but wagged it, you know, like kind of I'm uncomfortable, but I'm still excited about this walk. And so we go on a walk, and about halfway through our normal walk, he just stops. And he dry heaves a couple times, and which, as he's gotten older, his stomach is sometimes off and he'll throw up here and there.
Plus he had treats at the vet that morning.
And he can have a sensitive stomach to new things. So I didn't think much of that, but he froze, like, in terms of, not like literally freezing, but he just stood there and didn't want to walk any further. And so I probably stood there for 10 minutes with him, and he's just like, I kind of tugged on his leash. I was cold, and he didn't want to move. And then I think finally, after like 10 minutes, he started walking, and we finished our walk, came home, and from that point on, Mary and I were getting Elijah down for bed. Yeah.
At this point, Ollie was uncomfortable, but it was almost exactly like when he has swimmer's tail.
Yeah.
When he was a couple years old, he loves to swim, you know, and he jumped into the water, and it was his first swim of the season, and it was like this every 30 seconds. He'd lay down that night and couldn't get comfortable, would reposition.
Yeah.
And so it was very similar to that. So we thought, he's got this tumor on his behind, which they fooled around with today, you know,
Yeah.
all these different factors. He got a vaccine.
The ear thing, like there was just a lot of factors that seemed reasonable that he was uncomfortable.
Yeah. So we just tried to make him comfortable. We followed him around whatever room he'd want to go to.
Yeah. But through the night, he never got comfortable. I think it was around 5:30 I came downstairs with Elijah to feed him, and I thought a cow was mooing upstairs, and
Really loud, startling sound.
and it was Ollie throwing up, and I've never heard him make that noise before. And so Mary's upstairs sleeping. She wakes up and comes
Jump out of bed, no glasses. I'm just like, where's my dog? Like, what's happening? And I found him out on the hardwood floor outside the bedroom, and he had thrown up multiple times, but it was just like liquidy. It wasn't blood or anything. It was just kind of mucusy. And I was just like, oh, buddy. And I just sat there and, like, you know, put my arms around him, like, you know, just kind of like, hey, I'm with you.
Yeah.
And Peter was down here feeding Elijah and just was like, what's happening up there? I said, he threw up, but he's okay. And at that moment, I knew, like, we're going to the vet the moment they open. And so first thing this morning, well, Ollie ended up getting comfortable. So that was at 5:55. I took a picture of him afterward because he was laying different than he usually lays. And that picture was at 5:55.
So Mary came downstairs, Ollie came downstairs. So we were all here in the living room. And Ollie kind of laid down. He jumped up on the couch at one point, just for probably a few minutes. But it seemed like he was getting a little more comfortable. And so we actually all slept here in the living room for a little bit before we woke up and were like, okay, we got to call the vet.
Yeah. And they were already planning on talking to us this morning because of the random ear thing, and they had done blood work yesterday, so we were going to follow up about that, which, side note, it all looked good yesterday, his blood work. But I called and they had an availability for us to come an hour later, so we fed Elijah, got ready, and we left. And thankfully Ollie had a little hesitancy, but no trouble getting in the car.
Mm-hmm.
He sat down, and one of the things that clued us in that it was a little different than, like, he was a notch higher than the discomfort that we're used to. We're used to him being antsy and, like, moving around when his, like, tail was swimmer's tail or whatever. But this was panting. Mm-hmm. Not normal for him, not like, for this amount of time.
Like through the night. Yeah.
So we go in.
Don't ask me how, cause I can't explain.
It's a Bonzi, such a good boy.
Well, here we are again.
Sad day.
Oh, man.
Thankfully, it was the same nurse and the same doctor that saw him yesterday.
They took his vitals, and yeah, you know, it was clear from his demeanor that something was going on, but like his heart rate and his breathing rate were like through the roof. And she kind of examined him, and he looked pretty good besides that. And so she said, I'm going to go take him to get an x-ray of his abdomen.
To check, to make sure if his stomach didn't flip or something. So with deep-chested dogs, when Oliver joined our family 9 years ago, 8.5 years ago, we knew this is a deep-chested dog. Whenever you feed him, you do not let him run in the backyard immediately after. Mm-hmm. And so we've always followed that, and it's never been a problem, and it didn't change in the last 24 hours. He hasn't wanted to run anyway, so it didn't matter. But Anyway, they said, well, it's not always just when they run after they eat. It can just spontaneously happen. So we need to check. So they took him back for the x-ray, or I walked back there with him because he's like, what is happening? He did so good though for the exam. Like he just stood there panting. I was at his face, but the nurse was just like scratching his neck and he was just standing there. Such a good boy. And anyway, so I walked back in that hallway. I'm like, come on, Ollie. And he walked with me and we went back there and they did the x-ray. We just sat in the room and waited. The doctor came in and she had a very, very serious and concerned look on her face. They had the results of the x-ray. His stomach had flipped. And she said, I've already started IVs.
We're prepping him to go into surgery because he needs this now.
And we were just like, yeah, I mean, of course, do whatever. And she was explaining some, but then she left and she's like, I'm sorry that I don't, she was sorry that she didn't have more time to like talk it through. We were like, no, like, of course, go. Mm-hmm. So what they were doing was they were trying to compress. His stomach was, basically what happens is their stomach can get bloat, like fill with gas, and then it can flip. And when it flips, it cuts the circulation, the blood flow off to the stomach. And if that has been going on for a long time, it can make part of the stomach die, which it would be like necrosis. And then it's fatal. It's potentially fatal, and it's fatal without treatment.
Yeah.
So they were extremely serious about it, of course. And she said, the surgeon is here. He's going to come talk to you. And so they both came in, and the surgeon was amazing. And
he had been prepping for an elective surgery. And when our vet shared with him what was going on, he said that surgery can wait. And they fit he said, we'll take Oliver into surgery, and we didn't know he said, we don't know what to expect until we get in there, whether, the stomach has died, whether the blood flow being cut off has caused problems. But he said, we got to get in there, and he was hopeful that everything would be okay.
And he was very encouraged to hear that Oliver had actually thrown up at 5:55 a.m. and it was 9-ish, 10-ish. Basically, it had just been a few hours before that he actually threw up, because what the doctor said was, once their stomach flips, they will dry heave or retch, but they don't throw anything up because their stomach is unable to. So he was encouraged that there was a throw up recently.
Yeah.
And of course we brought him in like first thing. So he was like, this is amazing. We're all here. We're going to do this.
Yeah. He'll
recover here today and hopefully go home tonight. And we were just like, you hear about this issue that can happen with deep-chested dogs, this stomach flipping, but then here we are standing there hearing like Oliver's back there. So basically when I walked him back for the x-ray, that was the last time I saw him. Yeah. And like Peter was in the room with Elijah.
They left the room, the surgeon and the vet, and said, we'll call you in an hour or so.
I was kind of okay till then. I can't decide how to feel, but I am very thankful. Ollie is at the vet where he needs to be. He's getting ready to go into emergency surgery, and they said it shouldn't take long, and they'll know prognosis when they get in there, and we'll just wait to hear from them. But they're all being so nice to him, and they said that they had taken him back for the x-ray, and they saw the x-ray and immediately put IVs in and sedated him and started working on like decompressing his stomach and that sort of thing. But they said he is asleep and feeling no pain. He's good, because I heard a dog like yippy bark sound, and I was like, is that my dog? And they said, no, your dog is feeling good. Like, okay. So that was, I am so thankful you came in with me.
Yeah.
I was just gonna take him in, but Peter came in with me. Peter and Elijah came in, and he's in good hands.
Yeah.
I feel good. I feel like he's right where he needs to be. Yeah.
We came home and waited a long 2 hours.
Is that all it was?
Was it 2 hours? Maybe a little more before we heard from the surgeon.
Okay, we got a call from the vet. Ollie's surgery is done, and he's good. He said it went really well, so he's recovering and should come home tonight. So thankful.
The first thing the surgeon said was, Oliver's doing great.
Yeah. So relieving.
His stomach was completely fine. No dead skin or tissue.
Cells. Yeah.
No necrosis. I think basically we caught it
Early
at
enough.
the right time. Again, the doctor said it's not necessarily when they run or anything.
Yeah.
He said it could be. He was laying down on one side. He rolled to the
over.
other side.
Which he does sometimes. So we are so relieved. It was a couple hours of like, are we going to see Oliver again? Is this going to be like an intense, they got to remove part of his stomach. He goes to the emergency vet, stays there overnight.
Right.
We didn't know what to expect. And so it's looking like as long as Oliver continues to recover well today, he may be able to come home tonight.
Yep.
And recover here, and it would be such a relief. This has been such a curveball, and we suspect that it's unrelated to his tumor and his ear bleed. What the timing of all this is like, I guess when it rains it pours. I don't know. But or it snows. Yesterday it snowed.
They were not able, because the abdominal surgery took so long, they were not able to deal with his tumor cyst growth, whatever it is called. They weren't able to deal with that, which I'm kind of, that's a bummer, because I wouldn't want him to have to go back under in a few weeks. But they were just like, let's get this under control, see what we have inside, and just go from there. So we are thankful that he was in good hands and continues to be in good hands. It's a very strange, oh man, I'm just thankful. It's only been a few days since we got home, and I'm just thankful. This is just when we are home and not when we were gone.
Wow. So thankful, and thankful that hopefully we're gonna see him here pretty soon. So we'll see you guys then.
This is what our afternoon looks like after a crazy morning and waiting to hear back from the vet about hopefully bringing Ollie home tonight. But we're just all relaxing on the floor.
We got the call from the vet that Oliver is doing well, and it's time to pick him up. We're so excited. We're on our way over there, and let's go get him.
Hey bud, do you want to go get in the car and get your staples taken out of your chest? Let's go do that.
Hey babe,
Yes.
do you want to join me at the fire?
Oh, I forgot to vlog at the vet.
What?
I was like in the zone of, man. Ollie, come here, we gotta update the people. So we just went to the vet.
How you doing, Bonesy?
And he got his staples out.
Yay!
No more staples in your belly.
Are you allowed to run, run, run?
You are allowed to run, run, run now.
Yay!
Okay, I am editing this video. It's now a week and a half later. Oliver is doing great. And I did want to tell a little story about the day he got his staples out that I forgot to say on video. When I was sitting in the waiting room with Ollie at the vet, one of the nurses at the vet came through the waiting room and she saw Ollie and recognized him, and she was like, "Hi, Oliver. Hey, buddy, it's good to see you." And she like rubbed him and Ollie's tail was wagging and she goes, "You're such a miracle boy." And I think it was then it kind of sank in when she said that. He could have died that day. And we're so grateful for the vet, for the timing, that now 3 weeks later, he's doing great and his incision is pretty much healed up and he's loving life.
Hey, Ollie, you want to stand up and show him you're doing great?
Yeah, you're doing great, buddy.
A little bit. We should go take a walk. You do? He's doing awesome. He was just taking a nap.
So thank you guys for all your love, concern, prayers for Ollie boy. We are grateful that he is doing well. And we'll see you next time.